Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Von and John Chat About Stuff. This is going to be the first episode of hopefully many, and we are going to talk about mainly video game related things.
Very many video game related things.
Very many video game related things indeed. And speaking of video game related things, hi John.
Hello, Von. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm doing absolutely fine. I hope I find you in a likewise disposition.
Very much so. Yes, that would be correct.
Awesome. That's actually quite good to hear. Now, I have been told that you have a subject.
You would be most certainly correct there, sir. We are going to talk about, or if you don't mind, of course, I would like to talk about. Never mind that. I'll just hit my leg. It doesn't hurt at all. I'm going to fight through the pain. We're going to talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and the trailer that was recently released. I think we're going to roll some footage of that.
Yeah. Let's just watch that right now then, or at least bits of it.
Yeah, we could talk over the top of that. That would be fine. So there's horses in the game. There are horses in the game. How weird is this? We're in such a futuristic setting, and there's horses in the game, and there's a woman president. I don't believe it.
Well, that's just. I mean, the horses, that's fine, but a woman president, really? Do they really need to push the envelope that far?
Well, it's like a black president is just too mainstream now.
Yeah, so the only thing that could take this further is like a Chinese president, or maybe just a female Chinese president.
A female Chinese president or a Mexican president. All the pain. Okay,
A
there's
Mexican
so much anger.
president, Texas would be in a fucking uproar.
It certainly would. There wouldn't be
During his
anything wrong with that at
inauguration,
all.
he just goes, "No hablo inglés."
You know, hablo. But yeah, so there are horses in the game and a female president. The game's set in 2025. There's a very
Yeah, not the
futuristic
entire
setting.
game. Not the entire game apparently, because I think some sequences take place in the 80s.
Really, that would explain why the guy from the original Black Ops, he's like old and stuff. But like that didn't quite make sense to me because this game is obviously set a hell of a lot after the original Black Ops. But yeah. Oh, there will be horseback riding in the 1980s, yeah. So yeah, apparently there's like there's a very hacker themed, a very underground uprising, rebellious kind of revolutionary theme to the game, and it ties in quite well with the futuristic setting in that there's going to be probably a lot of cyber warfare in the game and things like this. But yeah, there's definitely some cool looking mechs in this game as well. It ties in mostly with this kind of ethos that they're trying to create with the hacking kind of stuff, and you know it's definitely ambitious. They've definitely switched things up. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. Maybe.
Well, it definitely looks interesting, and this is something that I did not actually expect to be saying about a new Call of Duty game, because while I may not style myself much of a COD hater, but I'm definitely not a COD liker. And basically what we see in the trailer is that there's a lot of change, and this is really new, considering that a distinct lack of change was basically the hallmark of the series from Call of Duty 4 onwards.
Yeah, a lot's changing, but obviously they can't stay away from the staples. The things that people are going to be expecting is a real solid multiplayer experience, and zombies. Zombies will be coming back. They will be making a return. Obviously,
I don't think there was any real question about that, because
no question.
That is basically the most popular multiplayer bit in the entire series since it was included, so there was no doubt in hell that was
ever since
back.
World War, people have just been craving for some more zombie shooting action. But yeah, so they're making a return, and I think it's cool that they're obviously switching things up, but we can't expect a completely different game. You know, this is a stable franchise, financially stable franchise. They are going to be sticking to their guns in certain respects.
Hell, they're actually doing a lot of new things. And I was actually researching this before you claimed this topic for yourself. I actually researched a bit.
Spoilers.
I actually researched a bit, for myself as well, and it turns out that there's actually some in the campaign, like in the single player campaign, there's going to be some sandbox bits as well, where you can just, sort of, you can fail them as well, and there's actually there's different endings, which is completely new to Call of
Yeah,
Duty, because having an influence on the story is just not something that Call of Duty does. Well, until now.
it was. No, it's definitely interesting to see that they're going to switch up the campaign mode. See, campaign mode has been a bit stale in first-person shooters for years. There's been a lot of cross influences, people taking from other games, and the story mode being switched up in the single-player campaign is being switched up. They've got this new kind of storylines can branch off, and you can sort of, it ties in with what a lot of developers are doing lately with really like giving you a lot of choice, even though it's supposed to be a solid set experience. With Mass Effect and things like that, have been doing it as well. BioWare rely heavily on this choice. Your decisions affect the outcome of the game, and so on and so forth. It's definitely cool to see them going down this route and trying to switch up the single player campaign experience.
It's really fun though, because judging by Mass Effect 3, BioWare basically forcibly removed all choice from the ending,
Yeah,
just in their last game. Well, a game like Call of Duty suddenly has more choice. Has maybe Call of Duty stolen the concept of choice from BioWare? BioWare is still patting their pockets, like, where the fuck did we leave it? Jesus, like. It's always at the place where you look last, and just
Mother, have you seen my choices anywhere? I appear to have lost them. I've misplaced my choices, Mother. Mother, help me.
Hey, aren't they like in your pocket? And Treyarch is like, and Treyarch is like, haha, we've got the choices now.
Treyarch outside the window with a shifty grin.
But yeah, you just see like the tip of his hair and his eyes just peering over the thing, and you just hear a very faint
in the treehouse with binoculars.
I think this is the first Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4 that has, in my opinion, a very good chance of being interesting to me again, at least. I mean, of course, many people are going to go, well, all the Call of Duty games were good, but personally, this is the first one I've been interested in for a very long time.
I wouldn't say I'm interested in it. I mean, look, I'll just be honest. I'm never going to buy this game. I will never put money into this. Activision will get nothing from me for this game. Not because I want to take a stand or anything. I'm just not necessarily interested. I'm not interested in it, but it looks interesting. Definitely.
Well, I guess that's what I mean. The last release of Call of Duty, it passed me by completely unnoticed. Well, this one, I'll actually just read up on some info if it comes available, because there's just some interesting stuff in there, and some new stuff as well, which is just not something that I'm used to from Call of Duty, and that's, it's outside of the norm, and that's really interesting to just, to follow.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I went so far earlier as to say it looks good. It does look good. It does look interesting, but it's not my kind of game.
And Treyarch's bravery in this case just needs to be commended, because it's just something completely different for for a player base that may not appreciate the differences.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Much respect for that, because this is unprecedented in the franchise. This has never happened before. They're taking a very bold step. They're mixing sci-fi elements where sci-fi elements have never been mixed before. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about the game?
No, not really about Call of Duty. It's I think we pretty much covered most of it. So I had a second subject. The topic that I brought is actually two topics really closely linked together. The first one, it's a really tiny one. They're both Elder Scrolls, and the first one, the tiny one, that's Dawnguard. Skyrim Dawnguard, and it's a new DLC and expansion that has been, announced, and it is said that it will be coming out for Xbox 360 this summer, and more info will follow on the E3. We don't really know anything yet. All we know is that there's the Skyrim dude with the glowing eyes on a picture, and it says Dawnguard. That's it.
Good old Dovahkiin.
Good old Dovahkiin, yeah. Anyway, the that's just a really tiny thing that was already known for a bit, I think a few days. But the really big one,
Big.
the big one is the Elder Scrolls Online. Because they are actually making an MMO of Elder Scrolls.
They're actually doing this now.
They are actually...
This is actually happening.
They took the plunge, yeah. I'm not sure... I mean, they took the plunge, and I think... Right now, in my opinion, it's like a guy jumping off like a big skyscraper. It just it can't go anywhere but a splat.
For you, a plunge into an eternal abyss.
Well, if
fantastic.
Only it was...
Shakespeare is turning.
Well, first off, I'm just kind of curious why they went for an MMO instead of just a co-op experience, because I think co-op lends itself way better to Elder Scrolls setting than MMO ever does. But just what I've read so far, because there's a leaked the Game Informer magazine, the cover story of that has been leaked, and there's quite a bit of info in there, and lots of that info it kind of worries me.
A lot of there isn't a whole bunch of information. Like, dragons are unlikely to appear. We know dragons are unlikely to appear, but that doesn't say that they definitely will not appear. Mounts haven't been revealed or detailed. We've got no information on mounts, but that again necessarily doesn't mean that they won't actually be there. Crafting, it's going to be in the game. It has to be in the game.
Of course, but I mean, it would be absolutely weird if they wouldn't put crafting and alchemy and stuff in the game, because that's been a part of Elder Scrolls for quite a long time.
Yeah.
It's the bigger gameplay-oriented things that I'm just surprised about, because what sets Elder Scrolls apart, in my opinion, gameplay-wise, I'm not talking about story now, I'm just talking gameplay-wise, is the first-person perspective, which is really... I mean, you can, of course, switch to third-person, but not many people do that. I mean, it's really meant to be played in a first-person perspective. However...
It's kind of counter to the experience.
Yeah, and TES Online is going to be third-person, and there won't be any real-time combat either. Not like we're used to it from Skyrim and basically all the other Elder Scrolls games.
Morrowind and so on.
It's going to be hotbar based, which is... It just makes me throw up a bit in my mouth.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, the smell!
The news, it moves me.
Yeah, it's... I'm... And then the screenshots, I mean, watching the video you guys probably see a few of the screenshots, and they do not appeal to me. The style. I mean, I like the vagina on the stick, but other than that, it's really... It's so cartoony. I mean, can't you... I mean, of course, I understand that, like, graphical fidelity, it needs to take a bit of a backseat when you're playing an MMO because of latency issues, but can't you at least have a bit of an art style that's a bit more... I don't know, realistic? And I know that I'm using the word realistic in a game that has dragons, but still.
It's with this kind of game, with this kind of MMO, we can compare it to classics like World of Warcraft. You're sort of disjointed from the action. You're brought back to a perspective that isn't as intimate as Skyrim, obviously it being played in a first-person perspective. So being disjointed from the gameplay in that respect, you can expect... Well, I think it's understandable that the graphics aren't entirely, they will be a bit cartoony.
I guess I just... And I understand, I mean, people might say, like, well, it's not even made by the same company, so it doesn't really have an effect on the single player. And I understand that. It's not even that that's what I'm so worried about, because it's not. I mean, I know that there's a new single player coming eventually, and it'll be really good. But it's the missed opportunities. I get angry at missed opportunities and at just wasted potential. And I have the feeling that I'm, of course, not having seen the actual gameplay, I think they could do so much better than this.
Are you at all afraid of this being branded, this being labelled as another clone, another typical, just push it out there?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think that it really is just another MMO, and all it's got going for it is the brand, is the
The
brand
name.
name. Yeah, and that's and I think that's a bit of a shame, because if you can attach your brand name to something, attach it to something good.
I think I said yesterday that this could literally ride on the name. When we discussed this yesterday, I said this game doesn't have to be all that. It can ride on the name. It can ride on the name, and it would still be purchased because the series is so rich.
I'm sure it will. It just I mean, of course, and it will probably sell well, and there's probably loads of people who will like it as well. And I'm not saying it might be a good game, in its genre. It just it doesn't appeal to me in its current form or format.
No, you're expecting more, better.
Yeah, but I guess then I'll just have to wait for the next Elder Scrolls game or Dawnguard.
Or Dawnguard, yeah, depending on the impact that has on the basic Skyrim experience.
Exactly. By the way, just a tiny aside back to Dawnguard, because I forgot to mention it. Apparently, there's been rumors of a snow elf prince in that. So
Really?
who knows what happens there? I don't know.
Isn't there a statue of a snow elf prince in Skyrim? Like the only known physical representation of a snow elf before they became slaves to the Dwemer.
I have no idea. You have to point that out to me at some point.
It's something I picked up watching your playthrough.
Really?
Really, it was a part of a loading screen. I'm not even kidding.
I guess your memory's better than mine then. But yeah, I don't think I really have more to whine about Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, it's definitely not something that I had expected, but I had just hoped that it would have been a co-op thing, like 4 player or something, instead of an MMO. What's also mentioned is apparently enemies that work together and actually have some sort of vague intelligence going about their business. So who knows what, if that's actually going well, but we should hope so.
Which is
And
like unprecedented in the video gaming world, that enemies
no,
should actually be intelligent.
they work together. Oh my god! And of course, the fact that you can travel all across Skyrim, except of course those parts that have been cut out in order to release as expansions later on.
And better news, it's already available online if you wish to purchase.
In DLC format. Way!
uh,
Also, here's some horse armor.
I'm looking. Epic mounts.
Oh, and by the way, of course, we still need to sort of announce this as well. We have a block spot.
We have one.
We actually do have one, and
It's there.
It's there, and the link can be found in the video description, and I'll flash it on the screen here as well, just to be cool. And if you are real bros, you just head over there and check out the written content that we will be providing either now or in the future. And, feast your eyes.
Everything's detailed, obviously, in the introduction post, so read through that and you'll know exactly what to expect, and we hope that you enjoy that.
Anyway, okay, bye-bye, lads, bye!
Bye! Thank you for watching this video. If you have any ideas about what we should converse about next, then leave some suggestions below. Thank you! Something like that.
I think I'll just use that, it's fine.
Okay.